Hi guys, welcome back. It's me again here in the Batcave for another movie review. And this week we're going to do Allegiant. And when this film came out, I mean, we all knew this film was going to come out because if you had seen the first two Divergent films, Divergent and Insurgent, and you knew Allegiant was coming. It was next on the list. It's one of those things where you invest inside a franchise and you know you have to get all the way through it, even if you didn't really enjoy the first two films. And in this particular film, it's wasn't enjoyable either. Before I go into the things about what I didn't like about this film, let's touch on more about what the film was about. It basically follows Triss and Four almost right where they left off from at the end of Insurgent, where they overthrew Janine, and everybody's now making their way to see what's outside the wall. And as you think, there's like, oh, you know, these massive people that go outside the wall, and how are they going to survive outside the wall? And what was told to us is this wasteland. This movie, they start off, that's all shut down. We're back inside this. We're back inside the wall, and nobody can leave, which was really infuriating to me because they made me sit through two movies of what's outside this wall, and now we don't get to see it. But you know, as the story progressed, we actually do get to see them outside the wall. And one of the biggest knocks with Divergent is that it mimicked a lot of the themes from Hunger Games. And I will tell you that once we're outside the wall, it is no longer a Hunger Games ripoff. It is a Maze Runner ripoff at that point. Because you have all these subplots about, you know, and they say this in the trailer, so I don't feel like this is spoilerish, about there being people, you know, who put them inside the wall, which they never touched on in the first two films, but now this was like a test. And this was a test to see how they could take people who had lived out in the, what they refer to as the fringe, outside the wall in this wasteland, how they could take these people outside of that area and put them in an enclosed area, i.e. a Maze Runner, and see how well they do. And basically, the outside the wall, like in the Maze Runner, this is where that was called the Scorch. This is it's basically the exact same thing. It left me. I guess but that's basically the synopsis of this film. The goods with this film, it looked pretty. That's really all the goods with this. All the good things about this film is that it looked pretty. The acting was suspect, and a lot of times the CGI was. I'm sorry, bad. The CGI was suspect. The acting was suspect. The plot had so many holes. And when I sat and thought I was going into this film, I thought it was going to be 3 films. Somehow they snuck a 4th one into the series, because when I looked up the film, there's on the website, on Lionsgate's website, there's an upcoming Ascendant. And forgive me, guys, if you already knew that there was a 4th film coming, you know, bravo, because I did not. And they never felt that they were leading you to a 4th film until you got to the end of this one, and nothing was resolved. Nothing was resolved. This movie made you feel like you wasted about 2 hours of your time. I don't know what the exact runtime is on this film, but it made you feel like you wasted about 2 hours of your time, and then nothing was accomplished. And the character that Miles Teller plays, he knows how to be an a-hole in when he's playing a character. And all you do is that first film, he was untrustworthy, double-crossed him. Second film, he was untrustworthy, double-crossed him. So we think these people would stop trusting this guy. No! Somehow they trust him again, and then he still double crosses them. Not as overtly as he did before. This is kind of a shady back-end way that he double crosses them, and you're just left like, who wrote this? So much that I had to go look up to see who wrote Divergent and who wrote The Maze Runner. 2 different people! But I don't know who wrote it first, because obviously somebody was stealing from somebody. And okay, so I'm going to call that the end of my rant. My overall feeling of this film, should you go see it? If you're a big young adult novel reader and you were a big fan of this series, you're going to go see it. If you are a sci-fi fan and you kind of like these post-apocalyptic stories, this is not the one you want to go see. There are other ones that you want to go see, and I will put in the comments, in the description below, of better ones. If you guys want to talk to me about, I'll come up with some other ones that's better than this one. But that's all I really got to say about this film. I don't hate this film. I mean, I sat through it because if we were on a film like Batman and Robin, I would have got up and walked out. No, I worked through this film all the way to the very end because I was curious to see what was gonna be resolved, and nothing. Nothing was resolved in this film. But that's all I got to say about this film. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll be back here next week. Next week is Batman vs. Superman. So I'll probably have my partner for that one. We'll do an actual show review of that one, and maybe if there's something else coming out that week, because I don't know what will compete with Batman vs. Superman. But maybe I'll try to sneak that one in by myself. So I'm Terrence from The Goods. We'll see you next week.